How's it going? Since Christmas is coming up, I've been looking at some Christmas songs, so I thought I'd go over some of the easier ones that I've been looking at. They're in no particular order. I have a book of Christmas songs by that publisher. I think it's called Hal Leonard. Uh, if you Google or look on Guitar Center, you'll see their music books. I bought it years ago, so I'm using that. Um, going to just I've been picking out the ones that were on the easier end of the chords. Um, this first one I've always liked. It's Blue Christmas. I was trying to think who's recorded this. It's I think a couple of famous people have recorded it. The first, so I'll go through the chords first before I try it. So the first chord is F. You bar the first fret. You put your second finger on the third string from the bottom, and then you put your remaining pinky and ring finger on the two strings next to the top, not the top string. And then you strum that. That's F. The next chord is C. I'm sorry, not C minor. C7. C7. So it's just like C, but you put your pinky on the third fret, fourth string from the top. And that's C7. Then it goes back to F, which we just looked at. And I just realized my bottle's in the way, so I'm going to move my Coke bottle out of the way because they're not sponsoring me, so they don't get to show up. So let me start over. Okay. So I'll go through the chords in the order they appear. I'll probably do it page by page because there's quite a few. The first chord is F. You're barring the first fret. Your second finger is on the second fret, third string from the bottom. Your ring and pinky fingers are on the third fret, the second and third strings from the top. The next the next chord is C7. So this is C. Hopefully you've seen. To make it C7, you just add your pinky to the fourth string from the top on the third fret. It then goes back to the F we just looked at. The next chord is A minor 7 flat 5. And that sounds complicated, but the chord shape's pretty simple. You simply use two fingers, one and they're both on the first fret. One is the second string from the bottom, and the other one is the fourth string from the bottom or third string from the top, however you want to look at it. I'm sorry, I should have mentioned you want to mute the top and bottom strings. And then after that, there's D7. It goes back to that A minor 7 flat 5. And I keep forgetting to mute the top string. Then back to D7. And then it goes to G minor, which is you bar the third fret. And since it's G minor, you only put the ring and pinky fingers on the second and third strings from the top on the fifth fret. And then next it goes to G7. Let's see, it then goes to the second page. It alternates through the chords I just covered. The only new one that shows up on the second page is B diminished 7, which again sounds complicated, but it's actually easy in its shape. It's just the one finger is on the bottom string on the first fret, and another finger is on the first fret, third string from the bottom, and you're muting the top two strings. I'll probably, since there's quite a few changes, I'll probably call out the chords maybe every once in a while if it's one of the rare ones. Okay, so it's I'll have a blue Christmas without you. I'll be so blue thinking about you. Decorations of red on a green Christmas tree. I'll be you're not here. I'll have a blue Christmas. That's so when the blue heartache starts happening, you'll be doing alright with your Christmas. This is the B minor 7, and then C7. There's a second verse, but I'll stop there because I want to go into another song. I want to cover a couple songs with you. This next song is I'll Be Home for Christmas. The interesting thing that I found about this one is the song version that we all are familiar with, where it starts off, I'll be home for Christmas, isn't the whole song. There's like an entire page or two that starts in at the beginning before that. I seem to recall this came from an old movie, but feel free to Google and correct me if I'm wrong. But I think that's why. But I'm going to start at the part that we're all familiar with, the I'll be home for Christmas. So this one is in the key of C, so it starts off with C. The next chord is E flat diminished 7. So the way I do it is I put my pinky and my ring finger on the bottom and third from the bottom strings on the second fret, and then on the first fret my index and second finger go on the second string from the bottom and fourth string from the bottom, and that's called E flat diminished 7. The next chord is D minor 7, so you take your index finger and bar the very bottom two strings on the first fret. You put your second finger on the third string from the bottom on the second fret. And I'll try to remember to mention this in case you're brand new at this. For that, you would want to start strumming from the D string down. So you don't technically have to mute the top two strings as long as you remember to do that. The next chord, they're calling it G sus, which I think stands for. I can never remember what that stands for. They're basically letting us know they're altering the standard G chord. So instead of the standard G that you would normally see, they're using a barred version of it because they're altering it slightly. So you put your index finger on the third fret, and then you technically could probably try to use all three fingers to do the rest of it. But what I do is I just use my ring finger to then bar the second part of it. And for the second part of it, you're on the fifth fret and you're covering the next, the next to the top string, so the second, third, and fourth strings from the top. So all of it together would sound like. And then they jump to G7. Okay, the next chord that shows up is E minor 7 flat 5, and the way you can do it is you use your ring finger to bar the last 3 strings on the 3rd fret, and then use your index finger to hold down the 3rd from the top string on the 2nd fret. And you want to mute or not strum the top 2 strings, whichever works for you. And then the next chord is just A7. Then they go back to D minor 7, and they go to G7, which, in case you've never seen it, if you start off with C and you move your index finger down to the bottom string, your ring finger up to the top string, and then your second finger up to the next to the top string, that's G7. Now they're showing F minor. They're doing it this way. They're having us bar the bottom 3 strings on the 1st fret, and then on the 3rd fret, on the next string up, which would be the 3rd from the top, you can use your ring finger for that one. And again, you want to skip the top 2 strings. Don't strum those. Or mute them, but in that case, it's probably easier just to try not to strum them. G7 flat 9. This one looks like that earlier one we did, but it's moved up to the 3rd and 4th fret. So again, I find it easier to do the second part first. So I first put my pinky and ring finger on the bottom and 3rd from the bottom strings on the 4th fret, and then on the 2nd and 4th strings from the bottom on the 3rd fret for your index and 2nd finger. And let's see, and they're not including the top 2 strings. Then they go to G major 7, which is simply C with the index finger removed. So if you start with a standard C and don't fret the part that the index finger normally frets, that will give you G major 7. And then A minor 7. If you start with A7, but replace this one with the one on the 1st fret, that'll be A minor 7. D7. If you don't know what that is, if you start with regular D, but this part that the ring finger's doing, that now goes to the 1st fret, so it's easier to use your index finger. Hopefully the light's not glaring too much where you can see it. Yeah. Next one is A flat diminished 7, which sounds complicated, but again, it's just on the very 1st fret. It's just the bottom and 3rd from the bottom strings, and exclude the top 2 strings. Next, it's D minor 7 slash G. And what that means is you start with D minor 7, the slash G lets us know they're changing the root. So they want the root to be G. So you could try using the pinky, but another way you can do it is you can reach over with the thumb. So whichever works for you. And then next is G7. You you see, I think that's all of them. I think that takes us to the second page. But trying to see if I see anything new there that didn't show up before. There are two. There is a F6. Put your first finger on the bottom string on the first fret, and then I'll make sure I say this right. On the second fret, put your second finger on the third string from the bottom, and on the third fret, I think I have that fret number right. Yeah, looks like it. On the third fret, put your pinky on the second string from the bottom and your ring finger on the fourth string from the bottom or third string from the top, whichever you like to count. And they are excluding the top two strings. And then with that, right after it is D minor 6. So the first one was, I'm sorry, not D minor 6, F minor 6. So we just looked at F6. Now they're showing us F minor 6. But this time they bar the first three strings on the first fret. And on the third fret, they have us fret the second from the bottom string. Use your pinky for that. And the fourth from the bottom string or third from the top string. You can use your ring finger for that. And they're skipping the top two strings. I think that's the only new stuff that didn't show up on page 1. Let me take a moment to look. I think that covers it. They do show one additional one, but I don't think we have to worry about it because it's literally right at the end, and I probably won't play that for this first try. In case you're curious, they end it by strumming G7 sharp 5, which it's not that complicated. I just don't think I'll try and include it because it's literally, they throw it in right at the end. Okay, I'll go through it. I'll try and go through it once. Sorry. Let's see. Wrong one. And then I said I'm going to do it, but I'll try it. Let's see. G7 sharp 5. The bottom string on the 4th fret. I'm sorry, bottom string on the 3rd fret, 3rd from the bottom. And then on the 4th fret, they do the 2nd and 3rd from the, no, I'm sorry, I got that backwards. The top string, which gives us G, the 3rd from the top, and then you can use your ring finger to bar the 3rd and the 2nd and 3rd strings from the bottom on the 4th fret. Okay. I made a few mistakes, but hopefully you get the idea. Okay, now that I've looked at the chords, I'm going to try and go through it once. There's a couple more I've been looking at, but I don't want to make the video too long. I'll probably do one or two more of these where I try and put two different Christmas songs together. So hopefully if you check back in the next week or so, you'll see at least one, maybe two more videos like this. So hopefully when you're getting together with your family at Christmas or friends and you've been wanting to do something with your guitar, you can use it to do some Christmas songs. Hope you have fun. Thanks.